Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another Wednesday night Freaky Fast broadcasting. This again is the Wicked Racing League, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is dirt on Bristol for the Trivista Dirt Race at Bristol Motor Speedway. This is Carl Pooler up in the booth with Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. as always in the production booth behind the controls. And Zach, you and I are here at the last great Coliseum, and it's covered in dirt. What can we expect here after an 80-lap challenge?
Well, 80 laps is going to definitely be an interesting challenge. You also got two stages thrown in there at lap 20 and lap 40. And I think the biggest thing, you talk about when you come to dirt racing, and I won't say I'm the biggest expert on this, but the changing of a track. We always talk about how the track changes on an asphalt racetrack. Well, the dirt is dramatically different. It changes at a more dramatic pace. And by the end of this 80 laps, this track is going to go from one lane being the fastest to another lane being the fastest. So it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be the driver who can find the grip at the right and optimal time, right when we come down at lap 80. So you could be fast right now in qualifying. You could be fast here in practice, but it might not matter because at lap 80, this track could be a completely different monster.
Different monster indeed, Zach. And we've seen these drivers, they've been trying to put down some lap times, and you can see the much larger spread in those lap times. You're usually seeing at least 10 cars within about a tenth and a half, maybe 2/10 of each other. And there it is, 17 digging hard on the inside of the 20, trying to go to the outside. And these guys, it's going to be interesting, Zach. You mentioned it changes lanes, and if you aren't familiar with the dirt racing lingo a little bit, you're going to want to chase the moisture. The moisture is where the grip is. It keeps the tires cool, and you see there the 17 trying to get the front tires down, digging into the inside of the lane, and that's where some of that moisture is in that grip. So we are going to see these drivers battle these conditions all night long.
Yeah, like you said, you got to chase that moisture on the racetrack, and that is definitely where the grip is at, and kind of opposite of what you would think from an asphalt racer. So, got to change your styles up, and drivers learning how to do it here throughout the week. It's going to be fun to see how they can all put it together here at Bristol. But, coming off of last week, we had such a great race, and, with Alex Coffey, he's on top of the board here after coming off that win. So that's going to really look good for that 7 machine after getting his second win of the season. After getting a win at Dover, here coming into Bristol Dirt, this could be another place where the 7 could shine.
The 7 is loving the time right now, but John Curtis is not far behind him, only about 3/100ths of a second. So definitely a tight battle up there with third, rounding out Gavin Rogers. Gavin Rogers, we even mentioned, hasn't finished outside the top 3 all season long, so he's done really well. In fact, his average starting position or finishing position is little under the second place, so he is just on a roll. But we are going to see if he can tackle the dirt here like he tackles the asphalt. We know he has the speed on asphalt, but this dirt, like you said, Zach, definitely poses a different challenge to these drivers.
A different challenge indeed, Carl, and a little bit of wrecks there as the practice ends from these guys getting ready for this qualifying session. And don't know if this track is going to change over here, but I believe it's going to go to 5% usage here at the start of this qualifying session. So that's a slight usage. There are going to be some pretty quick times being turned. So the track's completely different than what they had in practice, but we'll see who can put down the fastest 2 laps here to put themselves out front. But it'll be interesting to see. We always talk about track position. I think track position will be valuable here, Carl, but I don't think it's going to be the most valuable. I think keeping yourself out front is going to take yourself to be very, very quick.
Very quick and probably important track position. It's not going to be incredibly difficult to pass here, I don't think, because this type of racing, this type of track at Bristol is definitely one that favors multiple lines. If you can find a good line and keep it and even traverse those lines, you can really make pace around this track. But also you want to stay in front because it is dirt. Some of these drivers, believe it or not, are getting some of their first laps here this week as they were practicing, so you don't want to get caught up in just maybe someone else's mistake. So track position will be key in trying to keep that car, I guess, metaphorically clean, as in straight panels and all of that.
That's going to be super fun to watch for sure. And right now, the fastest times being put down, the first position is going to be going to John Curtis in that 00 machine. Great time from him there, Carl almost backing up what he ran there in practice, only 3 thousandths off of that. And from what I've seen here, that fastest time is going to be turned right around that bottom groove. Later in this race, though, they are going to have to venture to that top. I believe that will probably be most likely at one point be the fastest spot, but it could transverse back down low. That's going to be the fun spot to watch this, and that's why dirt racing is so fun to watch on iRacing, as they got this this dirt track evolving at a quick pace.
Yeah, that's exactly right about the dirt, Zach. It will transition much faster, much more extreme swings in terms of the balance of the car throughout the evening. It'll start low, like you said. That's where a lot of the grip is, the moisture. The track will dry out. The rubber will actually start laying down on the track and make it slicker. As we watch the 83 of Plord come around here. Oh, I'm sorry, looks like Christopher Norris running around trying to complete his lap. We have a lot of newcomers tonight. Word for the Wicked Racing League is getting out, and we have a lot of new faces, a lot of new numbers to get used to tonight. So tonight is going to be a very, very fun, very exciting race, I believe, Zach, and I am glad to be up here being able to watch it instead of race it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch for sure, man, because these guys are going to be slinging it sideways, getting it very much on the edge at every single moment's notice. As we look here, this is the 69 of Tyler Dingler here. See what he can do here for his qualifying time. We got about 2 minutes remaining still here left in qualifying, but Bristol Dirt setting up here to be a very interesting show, as John Curtis still holds on to a sizable gap for that top position. And what a time there from Tyler Dingler on the first lap. 1871 there, going to jump him up to 5th on the board.
That is a really well done lap as he bounces off the wall there. He's going to spin it, but that first lap was really good. About a half a second faster than his practice lap. So whatever he found that he was doing wrong in practice, he found to do right. But it's also could be the way that changed. We were there at the end of practice. You saw all the blackness in the middle of the track. A lot of the drivers were trying to get up above the wall where there's a lot of that loose stuff, that moisture, that grip we're going to keep talking about. And you see there the 11 kind of roll around the inside, drift up. But that's going to kind of proceed and go further up the track as the race progresses. And this is interesting. The 11 getting up there, and that's the downfall of getting up there too early. So much looseness. You eventually, if you're not careful, you get sucked up right in that wall. And that's that razor's edge these drivers are going to be trying to drive on all night long.
Yeah, it definitely is a razor's edge, Carl. And, one thing I think we should watch out for, we're watching this 11 of Giovanni here. He's gotten to the wall a few times there. Now, we've got this new damage model where the cars will build up damage over time and fatigue the parts. My question is, you get into that wall too many times tonight at too many points, you could be looking to break a right front or a right rear at some point here. So, gotta watch out for those suspension parts being damaged here, as qualifying quickly comes to it in there with 20 seconds. Actually, or sorry, Giovanni there jumped out of the session there for a second, but 13 seconds left in qualifying here. But yeah, Carl, I'm wondering about this damage model, how this is going to play out with a few guys when they start going up to that top groove. We're going to see a few guys definitely getting into that wall.
It hasn't been, from what I understand, it hasn't been too terrible, Zach. There's been a couple of drivers who actually raced Bristol last week, and I think you and I were both involved with that. It wasn't too bad in considering, as long as you don't do it too often. The more rapid, the more repeatedly it would hurt more and start having issues. But if they can keep out of that for a decent amount of time, they should be fine. But with that, qualifying has wrapped up, and we have the lineup right here as they grid up. John Curtis, Gavin Rogers, Ryan Thomas in the 40, rounding out the top 3. Alex Coffey sitting there in the 4th position. Tyler Dangler with a great lap in 5th. Steve T. Cole in 6th position. Gregory Shaw throwing down a decent lap, sitting there in 7th. Adam Buzzio got married and missed last week, is here this week. Congratulations, he's there in 8th. Jimmy Kubinek in 9th. TJ Roberts is going to round out the top 10.
11th is the 24 Johnny Shea. 12th is Richard Wolferser. 13th is Christian DeRoches. 14th is going to go to Christopher Norris. 15th is going to be Giovanni Perez Diemco. 16th is going to be Chad Bean. 17th is Mike Thomas. 18th is Nigel Christensen. 19th, Blaine Wilson. 20th is going to go to Sam Dyer. And rounding out the field, there's 21st is Revenger, and that is race control. So 20 cars here taking the grid, Carl.
20 cars at the half-mile dirt track at Bristol. We have the pace truck tonight instead of your typical pace car, so there is all sorts of different stuff about tonight. Another thing that's different, only 80 laps, Zach. Even with the 80% fuel load, this should be enough to really do the whole race without fuel. So throw out strategy, throw out tires. You shouldn't need either of those. It is 100% pedal to the metal, door-to-door action, and we are about to get it going here live. And we are just waiting for everyone to grid up with a couple more seconds before they make a pace lap around, Zach. We have 20 cars. That's quite a decent field for a dirt track, and with all of them on track at the same time, this track is going to go through quite a few swings. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the changes are going to be pretty dramatic. This first 20 laps, it's going to be a lot of grip. You know, these guys are going to be able to make a lot of moves. So I think you're going to see drivers experimenting here early, but I think the bottom groove will be the dominant way to go. But as this stage gets farther to the end, I think you'll see guys venturing farther up the racetrack. When we get to the second stage, that'll be an interesting time to see how much it has changed from the first one. But this first one here, plenty of grip, but let's see who can make the most of it here in the first 20 laps.
And, this reminds me of good old, Saturday night dirt track heat racing. Really think about it, 20 lap heats the first two, and then they're going for the grand prize at 40 laps at the end. That is the whole duration of stage 3. So these guys are already gridded up. The pace truck tonight looks like it's going to stay out one more lap here. So these guys gonna have a lot of grip. We're gonna see them fan out 3, 4, maybe even possibly 5 wide here, Zach, with how this dirt track, at least lately, has been able to build that grip and build that banking.
Man, it is so impressive to see some of the racing here. iRacing produces some of the best racing, first of all, out there. And when it comes to the dirt with the stock car, they've really done a great job with it here. And we're going to see an excellent race here tonight, live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
You heard it here first, folks. We are live, and the green flag is in the air, getting ready to be waved. Pace truck is going to make a hard left turn onto pit lane, and we are green here at Bristol under the lights. Dirt track racing for Tri-Vista Adoption Agency, and here we go into turn 1. They are going to turn it sideways down into the corner, side by side. 17 in the 00, and there is the 40 and the 7 side by side going into 3, and just like that, the 7's getting to the tail of that 17, and right now that outside line is not fast enough. The inside line will prevail, and that is just one lap here at Bristol.
One quick lap here at Bristol, 23 seconds of straight action, and right now the 00, John Curtis, looking to possibly set himself up for his first win of the season. Got that opening, preseason race there at the LA Coliseum win, but has not got a regular season win yet. So opening up a gap, but right now the big jumper is Ryan Thomas. He's up one position there, getting past Gavin Rogers in the early going, but those top 4 trying to break away.
And right now, Gavin Rogers is trying to work in the outside line. We see him up there in the distance. There's the 90. The 40, and he is trying to work that outside line, but it just doesn't have the speed he is looking for. In fact, the number 7 of Coffee has passed him now, and that is going. Ooh, we have a caution on the track. It looks like the 77 Kubanek ending up in turn 1. So that'll bring our first caution here at lap 4.
And it is first caution, and yeah, that was an interesting start to the race. And jump to the Freaky Fast replay here and see what happened. Is I think up ahead of Kubanek, the 3 of Roberts it was involved in something, but after that they got all sorted out. The contact happened there into 3, and then coming out of 4 down the front straightaway, the contact between DeRoches in the 23 turns the 77 headfirst into the wall, and not too much damage for a headfirst hit almost, but kind of luckily it kind of pancaked the side and not the front end.
And that's maybe a saving grace. You mentioned the damage model here with the new next-gen cars, but with the dirt, you're not quite reaching those speeds as you would see on the solid surface. So right now we're, maybe going just a little over 100 miles an hour, and the dirt really can help you kind of cushion that blow. So, and with being on the dirt short track, you don't necessarily need all that aerodynamics. So it's going to be pretty easy, unless you blow an engine here, to at least stay in the mix, stay in the field and keep your night rolling. So we will see how these other drivers do. Looks like the 56 and the 77 are maybe going to be a lap down due to just trying to get their cars pointed in the right direction here. But looks like TJ Roberts will be at the tail end of this pack.
Yeah, he got some contact to the inside wall on the back straightaway, but right before that caution all happened, so he'll be at the tail end there. But right now, pacing here at Bristol, but early in the going here is trying to get to that lap 20 stage, and these pace laps here, that makes the track not go through as much of a transition here. So this right here is going to slow that process down. We may see less change here, and it may make it where that top comes in very late in this race, and that's going to be the timing thing. We've seen Gavin Rogers going up there exploring. It didn't work out for him. He's outside the top 4, and if he was to finish there, this would be the first time this season, like you brought up earlier, hasn't finished outside the top 3, and I mean, he's just been on a streak of second place finishes with those 2 wins earlier this season. I mean, just excellent season so far for that 17. But the dirt tonight, maybe it's the place where he'll get knocked off that podium.
Well, in talking about great finishes, in fact, Adam Buzzio, up until last week, really hasn't finished outside the top 5. And then Stephen Borbell, him with Adam and Gavin Rogers, haven't finished outside the top 10. So we have a lot of drivers that are maybe in a little bit of different waters, as it were, experiencing the track and the race maybe from a different perspective. And it's going to be interesting to see how some of these drivers adapt to that change. And we see right there the 17 trying to roll that high line in, and there's the 40 as well. So you mentioned, Zach, the line, and that is so much important that these tires and these guys are trying to get up there and kind of pack that down, maybe have that come in a little bit better when we go green here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what they're doing during these pace laps here in the dirt, and exploring around that racetrack, just seeing what is available. But got them all stacked back up, getting ready to go green, and we're going to have a good little shootout here to the end of stage 1, and drivers looking to get those bonus points and help themselves out. John Curtis here looking to maybe put himself out front here for a stage win.
John Curtis, missing a race earlier due to sickness, is back and in control of this field. Green flag is in the air as we get a launch. It looks like the leaders might have spun their tires a little bit as we fan out into turn 1, getting sideways here in the dirt at Bristol. And that is going to be, ooh, we're going to have a little bit of contact between the 40 and the 00 as we watch the 51 of Greg Shaw make some moves, getting past the 96 of Steve Cole. But here he is, Ryan Thomas, losing a little bit of time to the 00, John Curtis. John Curtis has prevailed in that battle. There's the 7, Alex Coffey, using that inside line, trying to get to the 40. Can't put the power down. He's going to have to settle there for 3rd place, as we got battles all over the place here, Zach.
Oh, yeah, they did. Gregory Shaw was making big moves up to 5th, but he kind of got shuffled back there, as I believe Buzzio goes forward to 5th now. As Cole moves up to the 6th position, Shaw now shuffled back to 7th as he battles with Tyler Dingler here coming off of turn 2. But man, oh man, the changing of positions back and forth here on the dirt is amazing to watch, and it shows you the options available to these drivers.
And right there, we saw the 51 take the high line, didn't have the speed that he wanted. 69 took that low line, was able to get around him, but he is determined to work that high line. You see how precarious it is as we ride on board with Gregory Shaw here. He has his sights set on the 69. Oh, he tries to take a little bit of a lower line, washes up, but that upper line catches him, but he still is losing a little bit of time to Dangler in front of him, as looks like the top 4, top 5 are going to start kind of spreading out here towards these later end of this stage. And Christopher DeRoche getting into it with, looks like the 24, Johnny Shade, coming out of turn 4 there. So that was a little bit of a close call. TJ Roberts trying to make his way back. Richard Wilson for 56, a lap down, trying to get that lap back.
And this is very interesting. All these guys stacked up right here. Curtis is on almost the same straightaway as him. John Curtis is flying right now in this 00 machine, and he is quickly catching up. But look at Richard working that wheel. This is great for our driver camps. We get to see a lot more wheel usage here at the track when it's got the dirt on top of it instead of the concrete.
Oh, and he is really fighting that wheel, trying to get that thing to turn, trying to keep that wheel straight as we look at that driver cam and look him on the track. Oh, he overcorrected just a little bit, and that's just that fine line that you run in the dirt. That line is, that with the speed, with the grip, is just so minute that you just got to be careful, and he's going to overshoot just barely, stay out of the wall and avoid another one of the drivers on there. And here we are on lap, looks like 19, 18. So we are already almost done with this stage. He is just trying not to fall back another lap, but we will see how that pans out for him in the future. It looks like the 40 and the 17 here for third position are going at it, and there's a caution. Johnny Shade spinning out, so that actually may be staged. So already 19, 20 laps going to be in the books just like that.
Yeah, just like that is right, Carl. And one stage down, and I think that's going to be it. There's John Curtis is going to win the stage here, but it all happened right in front of our leader, and you can see the 24 here, and Johnny Shade. He was the one that went around there and brought that caution out, and unfortunate for him, I believe. Yes, he does have a required damage flag, so looks like some broken type of suspension. Same for Richard Wolferser, as he's going to bring his 56 machine down the pit road and get it worked on also. So tough break for those two there, as they were just looking to make laps as the leader was coming right up on top of them.
Not the night the 56 was hoping for. I know a lot of these drivers put in a lot of lap time. In fact, there was a ton of practices, and I hope a lot of these guys got some track time. It looks like some of them definitely got it. But yeah, that is definitely stage one here at the Wicked Racing League, as we look at Nigel Christensen getting a lap back. So that'll put Nigel on the lead lap. Good for him. So yeah, it's a really wild night. We don't expect any pit stops, even with that 80% fuel load. So right now, these guys just rolling around, and we see that glaze. That's where that dry track is. That's where it's slick. And already, Zach, we see that track changing.
That we do. That's, got to praise iRacing for the model there that they brought to us. And man, this is going to be fun to watch who can keep up with it. We've seen Curtis. He really opened up the gap. He had about a 3-second gap at one point there before that caution came out. But we'll see who can find some speed. I mean, his teammate of Coffee has moved his way up in the second. So the two teammates there at CNC Esports on the top two positions right now. So that's great to see for those drivers. Gavin Rogers, he made his way back into the top three. So he's saying, no, I'm going to be on the podium again. Buzzio, he's back in the top 5 like he usually is, and that common crew up front is behind him. It's been a pretty much a washing machine down the leaderboard.
Yeah, and Ryan Thomas doing really well there in fourth position. In fact, he was given the 17 a run for his money as that caution came out for the spin. So we are definitely going to have to keep an eye on that battle, as it looks like the 40 may be looking for an edge on the 17. And we'd all be in really strange waters, as it were, because the 17 out of podium position. That would be a little interesting for everyone watching right now. It looks like Chad Bean is going to be dropping to the back of the line. That 9 machine, as he has a lap down. So we are getting ready to go green here in the next couple of laps.
That we are here, Carl, and it's been a great start already. He's got a lot of guys holding on to it. I mean, we got to see the cam there of Richard. He just willing that thing, and the interesting thing about that is, like, he's hanging on to that machine. Curtis out front, he was just slinging it like a dirt car. I mean, that shows you guys that are very, very comfortable on this, and it takes a lot. I mean, if I was out there, I'd be seesawing back and forth on the wheel, because I'd say it is a tough job just driving a stock car on dirt, because it is definitely not meant to really be thrown sideways like it is. The key way you got to get to, go through the corner. And Curtis out front, I was watching him. He had that thing completely kicked out, and it was impressive to watch.
Well, that is impressive. Just as impressive as the lights are out on the pace truck, riding on board with Curtis. We're going to be able to stay on board with him as we see him get this green flag, and this launch pace truck hits the inside line. And there it is. The green flag is on, and it is going. Here we are in turn 1, and see that he kind of counter steers towards the right after he sends it into the corner, and we see him in the mirror. There's a 7 of his teammate, and there he is. Ooh, really slings it onto the inside line and then counter steers. And Zach, the steering wheel is one way, but another way to really affect the car on dirt is the throttle. believe it or not, you can use the throttle, and with as much power as these cars have, you blip the throttle just a little bit. That'll allow the car to maybe rotate a little better, get you sideways, and help you on exit as we watch these guys go around. And great steering wheel control, but throttle control is another big part of the racing here on the dirt.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, these guys are going to be using every part of their limbs. I mean, feet and both hands going to be completely in use here on the dirt. And you kind of almost see them, you know, what I call is even some of the rally guys will call the Scandinavian flick. You know, you go into the corner, flick it really hard to the left to get that nose to rotate. Then, as it's sideways, you counter steer back to the right and kind of hold the drift, as they would say. And it's definitely an art to it. And watching some guys back here getting up in that upper groove and showing right now that they're searching around this racetrack, and you can already see it. Look, just from these first 29 laps, this track going through a big metamorphosis.
Oh, it is definitely mutating into a fender-eating monster. We're riding along with Sam Dyer. And ladies and gentlemen, if you think that name sounds familiar, you are right. He's our primary broadcaster here at Freaky Fast. He's taking a break tonight. He's going to actually drive the car instead of watch the car. So we'd love seeing all this community get together and kind of drive around and get together for this race. But here we are. Tyler Dangler, Christopher Norris, Greg Shaw are battling it out 3 spots here. This is all for, looks like, 8th position. So these guys are really going at it, trying to get stage points as we are already halfway through this second stage.
Yeah, laps clicking away as the race is going to quickly be to that second stage point and at the halfway point for the overall scheme of things. And these drivers trying to find what they can right now all around this racetrack as they're watching this 81 machine here. Looking to hold position as Norris is all over the place on this top groove here, almost up into the walls at moments. And you get to see the cool look. There's the 51 of Gregor Shaw comes across the nose there. And that was a great slide job move there from Greg. And look, he's going to try to jump away here and pull away now and try to run down Tyler Dingler. But that's just some great dirt racing right there.
That was a really great high-risk move. There was almost zero space between him and the 83, 81 of Christopher Norris. And right now he is putting his sights onto the 69 of Tyler Dangler. Norris falling back. But here's Blaine Wilson. Wilson we normally talk about in the top 10. Oh, as we have a stack up on turn 2. Looks like the 20 Nigel Christensen, 23 Christian DeRoche are all having issues. So here we are. Lap 34, third caution. This is our second 4 incident, and we only have a couple of laps till our stage.
Yeah, only a couple laps, and I don't think this caution will be the stage. So with the timing of it, we should get a restart back here before that lap 40 stage, and we'll get a little bit of a shootout. And the even interesting thing about that is, you know, Curtis was not really pulling away too much from Coffee, so it's going to be interesting to see. And also, folks, I just want to let y'all know out there, by the way, for our replay system here on our side of the program side of things, it's tough to get replays on the dirt as it's a lot of times showing incidents for us. So we're having a tough time getting those replays for you all the time, but we'll get the best shots that we can for you out there. But letting you know that a lot of guys, there are at least 3 or 4 cars involved in that incident that were already in the back of the pack. But right now, 12 cars on this lead lap, Carl, is a few guys have gone laps down.
A couple of guys have gone laps down. Looks like Chad Bean is going to get his lap back. But ladies and gentlemen, why bother with the replay? Why don't you get in? Why don't you drive here on this service? The best way to start, I got to tell you, is Advanced Sim Racing. They sell the highest quality rigs, Zero Flex, Ultimate Aluminum, and they were founded 2020, really new, but they were created by sim racers just like you and me. So give them a shout out. You want to get started, use the discount code FreakyFast5. Tell them we sent you. You will get 5% off your entire order. So stop waiting for the replay. How about you go out there, you live it, you race it, go check them out. We love having them here as a sponsor for Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But right now, this dirt racing has produced some really, really good racing, and you mentioned it there, Zach. It looks like we are going to go green with about 2 laps to go in this stage, so it'll be a really wild shootout as we've seen a lot of crazy slide jobs, some really awesome racing. This track is starting to widen out. The lower extreme groove, maybe faster than that middle groove, and that high groove is starting to come in. And I'm beginning to notice as the track changes, it's starting to favor the driving styles of different drivers. So as the track changes, Zach, how do you feel about the entire field positioning changing as well?
Well, it's definitely going to make it interesting, man. I tell you that much, that the changes that happen on a dirt track are just so much more drastic, and you have to keep up with them. That's the big thing, and I think that's the things that guys with the experience will be able to do. Whereas guys that don't have a lot of experience, they might be out there right now feeling confident, and they've got it figured out with the grip level they have right here. But when they have to go search around the track and find that grip level, that may be the changing of the guard, and we may see a few guys start to slip back and a few guys really start to come forward. So I'm very interested to see once we get past this stage here at lap 40 what we got for us. But we should be getting, I believe, one to green here as pace truck lights do go out. And I believe we're going to have us a one lap shootout here in this stage possible.
Oh, definitely going to be interesting to see who wants those points. A lot of the newcomers may not be eligible for the playoffs, but some of the guys running around the bottom, Kubanek is on that cut line. A couple other guys around there are definitely looking for some good point outings tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can get him here on the dirt. But right now the lights are off on the pace truck, and he has taken the hard left down pit road, and we are about to go green here again at the last great Coliseum. Gavin Rogers looks like he spun the tires. That is going to let the 7 get outside of him into turn 1, and they are side by side coming out of turn 2. Couple of cars using that really extreme high line trying to make that speed, and here it is, the 40 and the 7 battling in turn 4. The 40 gaining the advantage over the 7, so the 40 is going to take that second place position. And there it is, halfway on this track. And you know what? They might have deemed that as the stage break as we look to go green. So 40 more laps here for the rest of the race.
Yeah, must have deemed that the stage. You must be right there, Carl, as they're keeping it great. Oh, Coffee, look at him narrowly, disastrously miss the barrels. And man, oh man, he gets back on track, but he's going to slide back to 4th there with that. And Ryan Thomas moves his way up to 2nd, with Rogers hanging on the 3rd. Coffee could have seen the water barrels there, as that was super close action for the 7 as he got up on that apron.
You know, and it's amazing he only lost 2 positions. 2 positions. It could have been so much worse. Talking about sawing on the wheel, I bet you he was doing it plenty. And there's Adam Buzzio on the 21. Steve T. Cole behind him. Adam Buzzio doing really well here. Lost a couple of spots due expanding his family, marrying, having a great time on a honeymoon. But here he is racing back in Bristol and performing really well, sitting in the top 5 almost all day long, qualified in 8th. But otherwise running a really solid race tonight.
Definitely running a really solid race, man, and good to have him back out on the track. And congrats to him there on the wedding. But oh, as I say that there, the 4th caution of the night flies here, and I believe that may be involving, I believe, the 11 machine, possibly, of Giovanni. As we'll see here on this replay, it looks like Sam Dyer, possibly the 42, may have been involved in this also, as he goes in the corner. Up the racetrack, loses the rear end, comes back down the 20 there, almost into his Christensen, barely misses as the 11 goes around, as that's going to bring out our caution there, Carl.
It looks like minimal damage, minimal contact. That might have actually been a spin, hitting the brakes a little too hard and locking up those rear brakes, making it spin around, as we're going to see. They see the 20 in front of them. We see the dust from the 42 of Sam Dyer, and we see the 20 get way up in there, just kind of like Sam Dyer did. They both kind of washed up there, then kind of shot down the track. And oh, here we're going to see some damage. The 11 getting into the door of the 20. That is going to cause this almost a synchronized spin there with the 42. But again, it looks like minimal contact, and here on the dirt, it shouldn't be too bad. We should be able to go racing here momentarily. But Zach, we have a lot of racing still to go. 35 laps coming on 34, and we've seen how quickly these laps tick off. So these guys are really trying to push it to get to the end.
Yeah, it's crazy to say 47 laps in. It's only been 25 minutes in this race. That's shows you how fast Bristol laps can click away, and especially even with dirt on it. That's just shows you how fast the world's fastest half mile really is. And as we're under this caution right here, folks, we need to give some shout outs to our sponsors. And you can look up to the top of our ticker there. That's right, it's flashing yellow because it's the iRacing iFlag there, virtual flag system we have for our ticker there. Is you can go check yourself out and get yourself one for your sim rig out at home, as it's got 64 LEDs and gives you tons of information with the visual flag state there out on the racetrack. And you can pair it along with their digital pit board. That'll make it the perfect sim racing apparel option for you for your rig. So go and check out iRacing iFlag at iRacingIFlag.com and use our promo code FreakyFast2022. And then while you're at it too, you should go check out and get yourself a nice button box, and that's called the admin box, because guess what? It gives you race control at your fingertips, folks. Is it allows you to do plenty of things. Not only does it give you driver functionalities, but it gives you race control functionalities. That's why it's called the admin box. It gives you those admin abilities to clear black flags, wave drivers around, add caution laps, decrease caution laps. So make sure you go check them out at adminbox.com with 2 X's there, and use that discount code FFB/BOXX at purchase, and you'll get yourself a discount. So thank you to AdminBox, iRacing, iFlag, and Advanced Sim Racing, as those are some wonderful sponsors we got here at Freaky Fast.
Awesome to have them on board with us, and as you can see, we are side by side again. Pace truck lap lights are off, and we're about to go green here with about 31 to go. And just like that, past halfway, and we saw how fast 20 laps can go. 30 laps aren't going to take much longer, as we see these guys trying to get all in a row. And the 77 Kubinek, that is, getting back on the lead lap, so that's going to help his the playoff hopes there, help him move up the position. But as we talk there, green flag is out. John Curtis getting a great restart on the bottom with the help of his teammate. Oh, the 7 and the 40 get together side by side going into turn 1, but we keep it straight, clean, and green. The 40 is going to lose a couple of spots, but he's going to try and get back in line. He's going to rub the 17 a little bit, and we have a spin in the back half of the pack. It looks like it's going to involve the 1, the 20, and the 56 on the back straightaway. So once again, under caution here at Bristol.
Yeah, and it all started around the 81 of Christopher Norris there for that 5th caution, and unfortunate for him, I believe he may have took the 96, possibly Tyler Dingler in the 69 with him there. So that 81 there getting high, coming off of turn 2 up into the 96, and kind of stacked it up. And then from there, I think what actually brought the caution was Nigel Christensen in the 20. He got turned from the 56 of Richard back in the field, and I think that's technically from that checkup there. I think some of these drivers checking up, some of the drivers not seeing it, caused that accordion effect, and those two getting into it brings out this yellow. Is, like we said, back under yellow, but John Curtis still keeping a hold of that lead. He's looking to lead every single lap here tonight.
And Zach, you mentioned it earlier, even though we are on dirt, we are really flying around this track. It is really hard to get this thing loaded up on the concrete, on the asphalt. It is really difficult. But you add dirt, and that just complicates it further. Plus, you're going so fast, you're trying to focus on the driving the car. We've seen these drivers really sawing on the wheel, and it's really hard to avoid what happens in front of you. There's so much going on in that cockpit, and it just things kind of compile themselves here. And you said it, the accordion effect here at Bristol, and just dirt is just another one of those things that adds a little kink to that story.
That it really does, Carl. And the dirt is an interesting thing. Bristol here, we get this once a year now, technically, where they throw the dirt on the racetrack. They announced they're gonna bring it back, of course, again in 2023 with the new schedule release. And it's always interesting and a spectacle event, and it's cool that iRacing, we can pull it out anytime we want. We don't have to worry about the hard labor that comes in here putting the dirt out on the racetrack. We get the ability to have both the concrete and the dirt at any time. So it makes the sim racing, I think, a very fun experience that, if you haven't checked it out there, folks, yet, and yet you think, I don't know if I want to go get in the sim racing yet and check it out, make sure you check out iRacing.com. There's just even a base subscription. There's a lot of things that come with it that you can go try before you decide if you really want to take that deep dive in the sim racing and commit, because it can be a very interesting hobby to have. I can say that much, as you can go very extravagant, but you can also start at very light points too.
You know, and it's just like racing itself, Zach. There really is a spectrum that you can, a budgetary spectrum that you can get on, and you can race. It doesn't take a lot of money. You get what you know want to get out of it, and that's what's great about this service. Great about the community. It's just awesome to have all that going on. But again, here at Bristol, side by side for the Wicked Racing League Buttkicker Cup Series. And we have had a little bit of changing of the guard. John Curtis up there in first with Alex Coffey. Gavin Rogers, of course, in third. Ryan Thomas in fourth. So those guys have been duking it out all night long. But who's made it up there? Gregory Shaw. Blaine Wilson started 19th. Chad Bean was a lap down at one point, and he's right there next to Adam Buzzio in the 21. So these guys are starting to creep their way up here at the end of this race. But right now, we're going to go green here with about 25 laps to go. And there is the 00. John Curtis getting a launch off the outside line now. And there's the 40 getting into the outside door of the 17. The 51 trying to take advantage. And these guys are really feeling the pressure. Ooh, that's going to be the 40 and the 51. Gregory Shaw, Ryan Thomas. Oh, and that's going to be Gregory Shaw. Door in the 40 hard into turn 3 there. So that was just a bad situation between the 40 and the 51.
Yeah, a little bit too much. You know, it's I say a little bit too deep into the corner for Gregory Shaw, but at the same time, in dirt race, it's so hard to tell what your competition is going to do when you go into the corner sideways. It's different than being inside, outside. It puts you in weird positions out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for Ryan Thomas, he's going to take the brunt of that. He's going to have to be getting that car fixed. Is also, it looks like 5 other guys going to be getting the required damage flags. Sam Dyer in the 42, 51 of Gregory Shaw, also the 56 of Richard. Ryan Thomas there, like I said, in the 40, also Chad in the 9. So that wreck right there, a lot of guys damaged in.
And there was that accordion effect, Zach. You mentioned it earlier. It's hard to see. It's hard to slow up, and when something that happens right there, it's hard to be able to wall up these cars as you know, things are happening. And it looks like Sam Dyer has a broken toe link, and you get that in there, and that's just impossible almost to be able to maneuver these cars on dirt. So once again, proving that these cars are really, really a handful on this dirt surface.
Yeah, really a handful for sure. And even, myself going back and looking at that, it's just one of those racing deals almost at dirt. You got 2 drivers going for the same spot. The 40's really arcing it wide, trying to get a really straight middle and exit, while the 51's kind of taking a nice shallow entry, trying to wash up in the middle and then come back down on exit. So just a couple lines meeting at interesting spots, and unfortunately it took out a lot of drivers there with just a simple racing incident right there.
We saw it before where the 51 made the slide job work on Christopher Norris with barely any room to spare. It looks like that might have been what he was trying to accomplish there, but was unable to make it happen. I think he may have mistimed the move, didn't know how close Thomas was in front of him, above him. But it's just like you said, one of those racing incidents. And again, dirt racing is an entirely different creature for these guys.
That it really is, Carl. It's the closing rates, everything. Just you can have so many different options into lines that it can make things very quickly very mixy. So you got to be watching your P's and Q's out there on the dirt track. But I tell you what, some guys that are taking advantage of this right now. I'm looking back at like drivers like Christopher Norris. He's up to 5th now. Giovanni Perez Diamco, he's up to 7th. Those drivers are 14th and 15th on the grid here starting tonight. And even Nigel Christensen, 18th, he's now worked his way up in the top 10. He was at one point spun around 2 cautions ago. So definitely an interesting situation here for a lot of things. But I tell you what, this is going to be a fun race to see who can pull it off in these last 20 laps, because Curtis so far hasn't been able to get past yet. But the one thing I will say is we've had a few moments where this could get a little bit mixy. In the 7 of Coffee, won last week. He may be trying to go for that another victory and get himself that out there. But he's going to race his teammate super clean, but they're going to go at it till the very end.
Oh, we're gonna see here momentarily. Pace truck on pit road. Green flag in the waiting hands of Barney, and there is the launch by John Curtis on that outside line. He's going to tow Adam Buzzio around there, but he's going to dive down low on that inside line, leaving Buzzio all alone up there. He's going to wash up on exit. His teammate Alex Coffey, they're both going to bounce off that outside wall a little bit, and we see them starting to single file out first through sixth there. Gavin Rogers in fourth, actually, trying to fight off the Christopher Norris, it looks like, but these guys, Curtis getting really sideways, halting his momentum, so these guys really struggling with the transition of the track.
Yeah, and that was the one thing that was interesting. You know, he was driving very much like that early in the race, and as this track slicks off more, I think that style of getting super sideways will start to not be the possible quickest way around, but when he's liking what he's seeing behind because his teammate Coffey racing with Gavin Rogers, it's allowing him to open up the gap here with 17 to go. But Rogers here finding some speed and found it there on the bottom there, a little bit on the apron just to find a grip. Now Coffey comes back for the crossover. It's going to be racing side by side down into one. Nice racing there as they come off a two. It's going to be Rogers, though, holding the spot.
Coffey had to whoa up there just a little bit to not have another incident, but it doesn't look like it's going to affect too much of his momentum, as now he is in the tire tracks of that 17 in front of him. His sights are set as we look back here with battles for fourth position. Adam Buzzio, Christopher Norris moving up into fourth as we ride along. Buzzio really close to the rear bumper, that one behind them. The battle for sixth, and that's Tyler Dangler, Ryan Thomas, who was in the latest incident. So a lot of battling going on back here in the mid pack, and that looks like maybe Ryan Thomas making that move on the inside line.
Yeah, big moves being made for sure. And Thomas, remember how quick he was. He was up in our top four the majority of the night. It was back there in the 51 degree so he got the wall hard there into that corner. Is that, again, that damage ball, you never know. Sometimes that thing breaks. You don't want to have that happen to you. And remember, these guys do have that one fast spare, so a lot of guys had to use that there under that last caution, but a few of those guys working their way back up. We're definitely seeing some big movements being made, but our top three are separating themselves, and they are really starting to stack up as Gavin Rogers late into going. The track's starting to slick off. The 17, our points leader, finding the pace. And again, like I said, I think that sideways mentality of Curtis isn't going to work the more this race slicks off, and it's going to be side by side here as they come off of turn two down into three. Look at the 17. He makes the move. They're going to make a little contact. Rogers to the lead, but the crossover here possibly opening up.
We have benders banging, we have doors danging, we have a lot of stuff going on. The 17, 007 all going side to side. And like you said, Zach, the 00 cannot adjust that line. The 17 was trying the high line earlier, couldn't find the pace. Now he's trying more the middle to low line, and here he is leading the race here at Bristol. And here we are. That is 10 laps to go. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, after the race, we will have post-race interviews with all the top three of our finish. It may be the guys you are seeing on screen, it may not be, but you have 10 laps to find out. As looks like the 00 is going to get really sideways and scrub off a little bit of speed there, so these guys are really greasing hard for this lead.
Gavin Rogers looking for his third win this season. He's got 9 laps here at Bristol on the dirt to go out here and get it done. It's been second place back-to-back times for this 17, and I tell you what, he's looking to change that here. Possibly he's found the speed late in the go, and John Curtis not able to find it here as his teammate Coffey starting to look for the position in second. This is allowing Rogers to really open up the gap.
And there it is. Curtis is really struggling. Alex Coffey doesn't want to race his teammate too hard, and there is the caution with 8 laps to go. That is the 40, looks like, of Ryan Thomas on the back straightaway. Zach, if this couldn't get any more exciting, I don't know how it could. 7 to go. We're gonna have a really short shootout for the win of this race.
Yeah, we're going to have a really short shootout for sure, and that latest caution there was involving Ryan Thomas, like you said, but kind of an innocent bystander. The 21 of Buzzio, real loose coming off the top of 2, was just trying to hang on to that machine coming down, and unfortunately their timing just met at the exit of the corner. That was what would bring the caution out, and the 21 and the 40 involved in that incident there, that would bring it out. And right here sets it up, man. This top 3's been battling hard, but they can get into it. You got drivers like Christopher Norris there in 4th, Adam Buzzio, who's back up here to 5th, Tyler Dingler in 6th, Gregory Shaw in 7th. You know, that they're all in position here of a possible podium position if something goes wild up front here.
And it very may happen because now the 17 is in control of the field instead of the 00 we have become so accustomed to tonight. So it's going to be a very different restart from what we've been seeing. The last couple of restarts, the 00 has chosen the outside line. Will the 17 follow suit? That's going to be really curious to see when these guys get side by side again.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that too, Crawl. I want to see what line he does pick. I'd imagine it's going to be that top groove just to have the straightest exit there on these exits to the corner to jump out there to a gap, and we'll see what he elects to do. But Gavin Rogers, man, what a job by him. I kind of, early in this race, kind of thought, okay, man, maybe he's going to settle here tonight for, a third, fourth place finish. That's what he's going to have. But no, he's found the speed here late in the going, and as the track has changed, Carl, he's the driver that's kept up with it the most and has found his way to the front of this field.
And he has done it the kind of the long way around. If you think about it, he tried that outside line early on in the race, really kept trying it until about halfway through. Starting stage 3, he decided to get to the middle, to the lower line, and that's where he found his speed. He was able to keep that up, and the 00 was unable to really raced the track the same way, was really struggling with the grip there in the last 10-15 laps. But with this restart, will he be able to find something to help him get to this win? We will find out here in a couple of laps as we are ticking off these pace laps still relatively quickly in terms of, just other tracks, honestly.
Yeah, it's still a quick lap even with the dirt on it for a pace lap. So this half mile, definitely it'll go by before the blink of your eye if you ain't careful. So we'll have to watch here, folks, how it all plays out. But again, I was alluding to it earlier. Rogers out front. He's had I said 3 second place finishes in a row. It's 4, so he's gonna be looking to break that here tonight.
And, Curtis is definitely wanting to get those points. Gavin Rogers has a 71-point lead over the rest of the field for the championship. And we're over halfway through to the playoffs. The top 12 drivers in standings will proceed to the next round of the playoffs. So it's definitely important to have that lead. But Gavin Rogers, if he wins tonight, would definitely extend that lead to a ridiculous amount at this point. But with that, the pace truck is off the track. The green flag is waving. The 17 starts on the inside line. Oh no! We're going to have Alex Coffey having issues on the inside line, and he's going to gather it up, and not before losing 3 or 4 spots as we go side by side. The 51, Greg Rochelle taking that outside line. 69 of Tyler Dangle, but that's going to open the door for Christopher Norris, and we have, contact for the lead. Curtis and Gavin beating and banging for the lead here, going down the front straightaway, and this is the freaky fast white flag. 1 lap to go as the leaders are side by side for the lead. And we have more contact. The 17 into the quarter panel of the 00. That's going to make Christopher Norris top 2. Alex Coffey digging real deep to the inside line, trying to beat the run. Oh, that's going to be Christopher Norris. Alex Coffey taking that outside line, and we have spinning down the front straightaway as the checkered flag waves. And that is going to be an absolute incredible finish to the checkered flag here on the dirt. And if I am not mistaken, the 1, 2, 3 will be Gavin Rogers, John Curtis, Christopher Norris sneaking out a podium finish here on the dirt. Zach, what did we just watch?
That was some wild racing there, folks. That was only type of racing you can get on dirt there. They're leaning on each other. Curtis made the big move, got up into, he was trying to pull the slider, I think, on the 17, up into him, slid him up into the wall, and then from there, those two raced very, very hard, and they made contact coming off of 2s. The 17 just got a little bit too sideways into the quarter panel. From there, it turned to the 0. Then the 17 came, the 7 came in the picture. I mean, it was a whole, that was a wild moment.
What a wild moment. It's been a wild night as 17 does his donuts. You can't see the smoke, but there is definitely dust flying. But ladies and gentlemen, as promised, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a step back. I'm going to catch my breath, and we will be right back, and we will talk to those top 3 finishers. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw an electrifying finish here for the Wicked Racing League Buttkicker Cup Series. 83, you see on the screen there, snuck away a third place finish. That is of Christopher Norris, and we will see what he has to say about that finish. But for now, we have him right here. Christopher Norris, it is Carl and Zach up in the booth. Take us through that last lap and able to avoid the carnage that was in front of you and sneak away that third place finish.
Honestly, I don't know how I did it. It was just a lot of wheel, just being able to wheel around it. And then I had these 7, I believe, Alex Coffees slide drop me at the end. I mean, it would just cause everywhere, whether it be under caution or when we were green. I can say it was a lot of fun, but honestly, it was, I guess you can say, interesting with how they wheel it around so much and then racing battle to battle. I mean, I saw the top 3, Alex Coffee, Double Zero, and all of them just going ham, and I was lucky enough to be there.
They definitely were, Christopher. I tell you what, buddy, that was a great run for you. CFO to squeak away there with third after that late contact there is able to just pull it out there over Gregory Shaw. But man, third place finish here, the Bristol Dirt. It may not mean a lot going into next week in Chicagoland, but it could mean
Yeah.
a lot for confidence. How you feel going into the mile and a half?
Pretty good. I know I can do decent at mile and a half as long as I save my tires and just keep the car straight with 0 damage. Unlike tonight, I had a few bumps there, but I think I should be pretty good, hopefully.
Well, I can guarantee I will be looking forward to it. We all will be looking forward to it, especially your fans. Anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to the admins, especially I believe it's Adam Bazoo. I don't know, just Adam, the league owner. He was able to put me in today. Myself, Sam, and Tyler to join up and just put some more participation and more fun in the league. Also, of course, Tyler and Sam for being there for the whole race. They were pretty fun to race with, of course. And then you guys for putting on the amazing show as always.
Well, we definitely appreciate the shout out there, and good job for all your fans. Good luck next week at Chicagoland.
Thank you.
And you heard it from the third place man himself, Christopher Norris. Interesting race. We are actually going to pull up our second place finisher. He, in fact, led the majority of the laps tonight, John Curtis. John, it is Carl and Zach up in the booth. You seem to have a really dominating car all night long until about the last 20-25 laps. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, just I don't know. Last 20 laps, it got a little looser. I was trying to conserve, trying not to get too sideways. I didn't want to get down on the apron and made a mistake, let Gavin by, and the green white checker just didn't go how I wanted to. He come off the bottom line and I was able to get up underneath him and I was going to try to run him high. So he wasn't able to get behind me coming down the straight to try to make a move down low and he just got loose and unfortunately put me in the wall. So it's a fun race and I felt like I had the car to win it. Just didn't my clash win has cursed my season so far. So let's say that.
Yeah, definitely. I could feel that, man, for sure. The Clash win is definitely a little bit cursed it for you, but still some good runs to go along with it. I mean, it's not the finish you wanted here. I know getting second, but how do you feel heading into Chicagoland next week? Do you feel like that's a track the Double Zero can go out and compete at?
The Double Zero CNC Esports Camry will be in victory lane next week. I'm not going to have anything less, so I'm gonna run that race like it's the last race of the season, and nobody's gonna stop me.
Well, we are definitely going to be looking forward to that. You hear that, fans? He is going to finish next week. Anyone you want to call out specifically, Curtis? Sorry.
No, and I'm not mad at Gavin. I'm not taking a swipe at Gavin. It's nothing that he got loose. He's on the outside line. He nothing he can really do.
I'm sorry. I might have been misunderstood. Any fans you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to name right now?
Yeah. Let's shout out to Alex's mom again. She's always watching. Shout out to her. I shout out to my dad and my brother, and the guys at work. And I want to shout out CNC Esports. We've been putting in the work here lately, and we gotta pull it through. I know all 3 guys on the team. We've got the cars and we've got the talent to win. We just got to put it up there. So.
Well, congratulations on a second place. I knew you were looking for that checkered flag, but next week sounds like it is going to be your week. So good luck next week from all of us here at Freaky Fast.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all broadcasting, and everybody tune in next week.
Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. You can possibly see next week's winner. He called it out here. But what we really came to see tonight is our winner, 17 of Gavin Rogers. Gavin, it is Carl and Zach up in the booth. You were kind of lurking there, maybe had a lack of speed earlier on in the race and shown when it mattered. But you have snapped that 4-race second place finishing streak. How does that make you feel?
Well, not the greatest right now. I want to apologize to John Curtis. I just got loose there. I ran into him. I hate that happened, but I mean, I'm glad he got second. It's just, yeah, I don't want to win it that way. I expected him to run a little bit lower. That first time when I went up the track, like Coffee and all of them were doing. I thought he was going to do the same thing. That's what kind of got me up and into the wall. So yeah, just unfortunate that happened. I like I said, I don't want to win it that way, and in the second place streak, I guess, is good. Coming up with a win, 3 wins in this league is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, man, definitely can hear the remorse in your voice there, man. And still a great race by you, man. You really put it together there at the end, got to the lead, and had the control there at that green-white checkered. I mean, take us through it because it looked like the track kind of came to you.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just waiting till the end. I was more comfortable on a worn-out track. I knew they were going to be real aggressive and pretty fast there at the beginning, so I was just trying to take it easy. I wasn't gonna get dive bombed there, so I just kind of let off and give them the room till the end. I was definitely more comfortable on the loose, slick track. Yeah, it's just that second to last restart. I definitely could feel it coming. Got by both Alex and John there. It felt pretty good, and then it's that last caution there kind of made everything break loose there.
Well, you were able to, capitalize and maybe not be the way you win, but next week we have Chicagoland. John Curtis thinks he's fired up. He has the ability. What do you got for John Curtis next week in Chicago?
I'm sure he'll be fast. He'll be up there for the win, racing for the win. I'm sure it'll be same old guys, but I'm obviously going to give him a little bit more room. He probably has one to owe me there, but yeah, I think it'll be a pretty decent race. I like Chicagoland. Yeah, as long as it's not a wall riding track like Kansas, I think I'll be fine there.
Fantastic. Well, I certainly loved watching you win. Your fans out there, anyone want to give a shout out to tonight?
Oh yeah, Gio. First off, I know he was doing pretty good tonight. He kind of had some ups and downs with some of those incidents, and he had no practice at all this week. So having no practice and finishing 12th out of the 21 guys tonight is pretty good. Shout out to my parents, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, sponsors, Sundance Pizza, Jet Set Magazines, and Printed Pieces. Next Level Karting as well. Aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, everybody.
Well, fantastic. I know I enjoy watching you take that win. Your fans probably watch it too. Good luck next week at Chicagoland.
Thank you, guys.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, from the race winner himself. Things just kind of went, no pun intended, sideways. He was just trying to make a maneuver, and that's just part of the drama, part of the action here on the dirt track. But Zach, we saw a lot of action tonight with Gavin Rogers winning, John Curtis squeaking out that second place, Christopher Norris stealing third, Gregory Shaw in fourth place, Jimmy Kubinek in fifth on the cut line of the playoffs, Adam Buzzio outside the top five in sixth, Nigel Christensen usually is really good, started 18th, finished 8th, Alex Coffey up front all race long. With that last race incident though, he is going to end up in 9th, Chad Bean's going to round out the top 10 all on the lead lap, and everyone else kind of a rough race. You could see who was there, who wasn't. Ryan Thomas had a really fast car till an early incident, and that kind of put him back there, and he just could not recover. But Zach, we saw a lot of awesome driving, a lot of awesome racing, and fireworks to finish the race. What's next week at Chicago? We could probably see much of the same.
That we very well could, man. Tonight's race was fantastic. The 80 laps here on the Bristol dirt track was one for the books there, man. I know, Gavin feels bad about that moment there, but they were laying doors on each other. I feel like a few guys were. So, I felt like at that point it was racing, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out heading into next week at Chicagoland. But the race was great here tonight. I expect, similar to kind of what we see at Kansas, a race where we see drivers who save, some drivers who push hard, and the comers and goers effect happening at Chicago. And I'm very interested to see how that track plays with this next gen car and how the setup is, because that track can really open up sometimes multi groove if the setup is just right enough. So we'll see how it all works out. But I'm excited for that 175 laps, as we could see another driver possibly get himself in victory lane. But Gavin Rogers, he's gonna be happy as our points leader is. He's finished on the podium every single week. Can he keep that up? Because he was able to get his third win tonight.
Great finish by the 17. Ladies and gentlemen, we mentioned next week's Chicagoland, same night, same time, but don't worry. You hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button. We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. We are on it. We even started a TikTok, so go find us, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. You will never miss any minute of the action, as we have stuff going on almost every night of the week. A WSSR Cup Series Saturday, ISRC Truck Series on Monday. We have the Full Send Series. We have Stars and Stripes on Thursday. So, ladies and gentlemen, you won't miss a thing if you hit that button. But until then, you can catch us later. But keep it. You guys stay strong. You guys stay safe and stay freaky fast.